Is there a point where you realized I've been living for other people and not myself?
How much time you got, man?
We got time.
Yes. I'll say this. My 36th birthday, I'm 38 now, so about 2 years ago, I had this realization that I had been living my entire life for other people. And what was even harder for me to digest about that, a little bit of ego, a little bit of pride, but it's been for the greater good. I was the oldest brother. I was protecting my younger siblings. I was stepping up more as the guy, the man around the house growing up. I was free, if not cheap labor for my parents. Like my dad opened up multiple businesses, coffee houses and a steakhouse. And like when people wouldn't show up to work, he's still there. And like, hey, Chase, throw an apron on. Hey, Chase, busboy. Hey, Chase, hey, Chase, hey, Chase. I just did, and I served. And then I literally served, 6 years active duty. And I gave my body to that job. Suffered career-ending injuries for what? I was like, I'm only here because I wanted, to honor my dad. A year into that service, he passed away. And so then I'm continuing out this choice that I made, but for somebody else. And then, fast forward year after year after year, up until 36 years. And I'm like, okay, you did for others. Who's going to knock you for trying to be a good big brother? Who's going to knock you for being a good son? Who's going to knock you for serving your country? Who's going to? But like, also, like, no one asked you to do that. No one forced me to do anything. No one asked me to do anything. So even if for this so-called greater good, why? And I had this moment, this realization, and also in combination with a lot of what was going on. I live in Los Angeles. That was like the height of lockdown and COVID life, pandemic, just a lot of fear and uncertainty and people just acting out of sorts. There was a time when, I'm a big rule follower. Growing up very religious, being in the military, I use this analogy all the time. Like, I was that guy that I could be in a deserted town, and if I'm at a crosswalk, and if the red light is up, I'm not going. There can be no one in sight, no cars, but because it's the right thing to do, because the rule says no, you wait until that illuminated figure comes on, you can cross the street. I was that guy. And I was like, why? So once COVID happened and all this stuff, and I just began to really look at like a lot of these rules that I'm following and a lot of the ways that I've chosen to live my life, even if for the quote greater good, or in my mind, whatever greater good I created that to be. Like, again, no one asked me and why. So I began to just really question everything in my life. And I began to listen to intuition, began to listen to my gut, listen to a higher power connection, maybe that I had been muting for so long. And I was like, you know what? If I act this way now because I feel in alignment with it, and I do it, and technically it's wrong. Technically, the world says no. Maybe even technically it's illegal. Jaywalking, illegal, for example, like just the smallest little thing. Do I feel like I am acting still out of integrity with my truth and what really matters and what happens in the world? And once I finally started asking those questions and then listening to not just what I wanted the answer to be, but what I felt it must be, dude, I was set free. And I haven't looked back since.